Adrian, you're CEO of Leaders Romans. Where do you think a estate agency and letting agency is going in the next 10 or 20 years?
I think estate agency is still going to remain a personal service. So whilst there's lots of talk in the industry about online agents, it's still a personal service, and actually you're seeing the online agents moving towards personal service as that part of the industry matures. So it will continue to be an online a personal service. It will continue to be delivered by people, and it will continue to be built around relationships.
Have you ever considered setting up like a Romans Direct, almost like an online offering to run alongside your high street offering?
I think that would be very hard to manage, as Countrywide have shown, because actually, essentially that's what they wanted to do. I think it would challenge our customers to understand what's the difference between Romans High Street and Romans Online. I think it would also challenge our staff, who may feel that the online offering was undercutting their own offering. So I don't think that's a possibility.
Do you think the same number of high street offices of estate agents will still be the same in 10 or 20 years' time?
I don't know about 10 or 20 years' time, but I certainly think there'll be a shakeout in the next few years, because as the volumes have gone from the market, and as the lettings market reduces in size and tenants' fees come away, I think there's less money in it for estate agents. And so a town that's got 17 agents might go down to 12 as the weaker agents close their doors.
Do you think Leaders Romans will grow in the next 10 years, or be about the same, or drop?
I really hope we're able to grow in the next 10 years. I think that our ability to deliver a customer proposition and services to customers that is better than other agencies there, and I think we'll have the backing and the quality of team in order to continue to grow our business.
Now, your background is an accountant. What do you know about estate agency?
I've been in estate agency since 2002. So whilst I never started out as an estate agent, I've actually been sitting around estate agency boardroom tables with some of the best people in our industry for 16 or 17 years, and I've been listening hard. So hopefully I've learned some lessons, and actually the lesson I've really learned is that non-estate agents aren't very good at estate agency. So therefore I listen to my really experienced managers before I do anything.
I mean, there's no. It's in the public environment, but you're owned by a private equity firm. They could end up selling you, or even you're potentially borrowing a lot of money to buy a lot of. You're expanding. Could you end up being another Countrywide?
No, I don't think so. Beaumark Capital have owned Leaders since 2011 and Romans since 2013, and at some point in the future are likely to sell us, most likely to another private equity firm.
Do you think Purple Bricks could buy you?
Well, I think it's unlikely, because I'm not sure how it would fit with their business model. But Leaders and Romans have both, whilst they've borrowed money, have built an enormous amount of value, an enormous amount of profitability in their business with that capital. And so despite the fact that we have debt, actually we're worth considerably more than that debt, and that debt has been put to good use. So therefore I don't think there's any chance of us becoming another Countrywide. But Countrywide's problems are about operational challenges that they brought upon themselves through their strategy, which unfortunately didn't work for them. Our operational strategy is in line with what the high levels of service that both Leaders and Romans have been carrying out for many years, and that's not going to change.
Because you're buying agents and you're buying on the high street, do you foresee yourself continuing to buy agencies around the country?
Yes, I think we've got a national footprint of 155 offices at the moment, but actually, as most people will know, 155 offices is very patchy, and actually I think we'll continue to buy or open branches adjacent to our existing areas, or actually in wholly new areas where we can build enough density of branches in order to gain critical mass.
Okay, so not just Leaders Romans. Let's just finish on this. Where do you see the estate agency industry in the next 10 or 20 years? Is it going to be all online, all high street? I know you said you want to go down high street, but that's you guys. I'm talking about the industry as a whole. Is it going to be that umbrella associate model? Where do you see it?
I think there's going to be a much clearer differentiation between what the estate agency service offers. So on one end of the spectrum, you will have an online agent that lets you sell your house for a few £100s. You will have Purple Bricks offering a pay up front, lower service level, but still mostly a people service level. And I think at the other end, an offering that really isn't very well developed yet is that you're going to have a higher service levels and a more differentiated offering that offers the customers more of what they want, which I think will be a higher level of service than most of the industry is offering and has been offering in the past.
Maybe we could talk about that in the next video.
Maybe we could.
Thank you.
Nice, thanks.